Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Gia. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, whether it be a topic, a reaction, a review, a re-review, a randomness, out of the blueness, commentary, I already said that, reaction, ranking list, pretty much whatever, feel free to send it. Either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video. Now, this is a topic where Gia is asking, what's your opinion about the decline of wrestling since the Attitude Era? Now, for those who don't even know anything about wrestling, the Attitude Era was about 97, 98 to about maybe 2001. If you stretch it, maybe 2003, but even that could be too far. Because it's not a simple answer, and bear with me, this could be a long video. Wrestling I grew up with for a bit, meaning as a kid I would watch VHS tapes. My aunt would send VHS tapes of a few bits of wrestling. That was the era where you had Bret the Hitman Hart and Razor Ramon and stuff of like 93, 94. Also like VHS tapes of WrestleMania, at least one or two of them. Hulk Hogan. I will admit, I was a big Hulk Hogan fan back in the day, like a lot of kids were. Because you think you like comic books and you like superheroes, and then this kind of was the equivalent of it in wrestling. These big personalities, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the Immortal, Hulk Hogan, and all these others. The Ultimate Warrior, all that stuff. And then in the early 90s, business was dying a bit. WCW was another wrestling program, same with WWF. WWF was on one station, WCW was on another station. WWF went to WWE, because WWF, there was another WWF called Wildlife Foundation, World Wildlife Foundation. They said, no, we own it. You don't have to change it. So they changed it from WWF to WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Then a couple people, including Eric Bischoff, said, you know what, we're in WCW, you're giving me a chance, we need to do something crazy. Let's go on the same night as them, and let's spice it up. Oh, some of their stars, like Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, and Kevin Nash, a.k.a. Diesel, they just went bye-bye. Come on over here. Have this program, you're the outsiders, you're invading WCW. You got your third partner, oh my god, it's Hulk Hogan and he's a bad guy. Start the NWO. For a while they were kicking WWE's ass. I think at that time they're still WWF. And they had Bill Goldberg and his streak of all of his wins. You had Sting, who was the cool surfer guy, to now similar to Brandon Lee's The Crow with the makeup and the stature and being glum and lurking in the rafters, to people like Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko and all these cruiserweights where they could really wrestle and give you a good match. All this stuff started developing. Then WWF had Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and all that stuff. They said the Attitude Era. We need to push the limits. Maybe it's a little bit of Jerry Springer. So you had some crazy stuff. One person giving birth to a hand. One person going, we need to cut his pee-pee off. Just the variety of stuff of shot TV. But you had some really good personalities and really good wrestlers, like Stone Cold Steve Austin battling against the boss Vince McMahon. And then again, you had The Rock, you had Kurt Angle, you had all this stuff. Mick Foley. Until ultimately, WWF started gaining, and WCW started losing because of a lot of bad decisions. A lot of bad decisions. Ultimately, WCW closed their doors. Vince McMahon bought it. And that was the start of the decline. Because once that happened, And yeah, it's not a simple answer, but you have this fad. And it was a fad for a bit, meaning, oh my god, this is the thing, and it's awesome, it's cool, and people are, yeah! And they're cheering in the audience, and they're, what's going to happen next? It was a rock concert. But then WCW, bad decisions. Hiring a guy like Vince Russo to write some awful stuff. I know there are people that like Vince Russo. I'm not one of them. I'm sorry, I'm not one of them. I think, I'm not going to say he has zero good ideas in WWF. That wouldn't be fair. But I think his contributions get a bit overrated, in my opinion. I don't think it was as much as some people make it out to be. That's just my 2 cents on it. So, WCW, hey, let's have all these pole matches. Let's have just a whole lot of stuff. Anyway, let's not get into the question at hand. As time went on, WCW closed, so you have that audience be like, oh, well, I guess the party's over. And then the stuff that they did like, or the stuff they were into, they weren't seen on WWF. The stars they liked, they weren't seen. It would be years until Goldberg and some other people get in there. And the few people that did, like Diamond Dallas Page, Booker T, they were used poorly. Because we kicked WCW's ass. So even though we have these potential stars that could do very well for us, we don't want to shit on them. So Triple H, you beat Booker T. Even though Booker T should have won, should have had a good run. He's got presence, he's got charisma, he's got great theme song, he can move in the ring, he's got a presence, he's a star. I'm sorry, he's a better star than Triple H, Nipple H, Preparation H, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Never liked Nipple H. He was a bit scratch on my ass, hence Preparation H. He sucks, in my opinion. I don't think he can talk on the mic, he can barely wrestle. His matches all feel the same and boring. I'm the game, and all my matches are the same. 4 out of 10. What, people remember the stupid get-ups he wears, like the wannabe Terminator outfit one year, or think he's Conan the Barbarian another year. Diamond Dallas Page, they did a stupid thing where he was the stalker, stalking Undertaker's wife, or girlfriend, whatever the fuck he was. Even though Diamond Dallas Page was a good guy, he was one of the best baby faces in WCW for a time. So you had people that were not going to come back because WCW had this thing where their contracts could just ride out. You don't have to lift a finger. So off the bat, what's going to happen? Well, you don't have Bill Goldberg because he's sitting at home collecting the paycheck. You don't have Hulk Hogan. At least not for a little while. You didn't have some of these other guys. Just Steen didn't come in till decades later, and look how they fucked him up. So, when there's no competition, when there's no fight, you get lethargic, you get lazy, you get incompetent, and you make a lot more mistakes. Just let's be honest, the Attitude Era was not perfect. I like the Attitude Era, I liked a lot of this stuff, but if you try watching a lot of those shows again, there's not a lot, I mean, there's good stuff when you have those stars, like Steve Austin versus McMahon, or The Rock, stuff like that. But there's a lot of bad comedy bits too. It's just maybe we can enjoy him a little bit more because of his edgy, and that Jerry Springer Shock TV stuff. But when you have a lot of stars that left or just were sitting on their heels, WCW closed, ECW also closed. So you have the fans who are really into ECW. Well, shit, we're not going to see much of that. All the fans of WCW, well, shit, we don't have that. And some stars are there, and the stars that are there, they're being used so poorly. Screw this. And they grow up. They grow up and they get into other stuff. I think a lot of fans of that time grew up and moved on to other stuff. And in a way, the fad was over of this Think of it as TV shows. You have TV shows that ride the line and last 10 years. You also have those shows that are supernova. That's what we call the supernova show. Alf, the alien from Melmac, Alf, ALF, or the A-Team. When they hit big, like a big supernova, but they die out twice as quick. So the A-Team, 4 or 5 seasons gone. The Alf, 4 seasons gone. I think here, boom, it hit big, and it could not survive. It was going to burn out twice as fast. Just then you have a lot of hot-shotting that they did. We gotta make this the best ever, so have Hell in a Cell and Mick Foley falls and almost fucking dies, and they did everything and anything you could. Sorry, my nose is itching. They did everything and anything you could in that era. Same with WCW. After that, what more can you do? How can you be shocked or surprised when you've seen everything? I mean, think about that. That's something people don't think. Once I grab this. There we go. Once you've seen everything, where can you go? And it's one of those things where, okay, I've seen a dive off the top of the cage. That's crazy. But when you saw it every week and twice on Sunday, and to me, just a lot of, like I said, it's not an easy answer. It's a complicated one. If it was an easy answer, someone would answer it and they would just fix it. I think a lot of the audience, they grew up and they grew past and they did other stuff. There's so many people that would say, you know, I used to be in wrestling, or I used to be into wrestling, I should say, but it got too long, it got too boring, it got too goofy, it got too silly, it was too talky, it was too scripted, it was too... a lack of strong personalities. I mean, there are exceptions, sure, throughout the years. Edge, I liked. Adam Copeland, Edge. I liked CM Punk. As a person, yeah. But as a personality, he did what he could. A lot of people enjoyed Daniel Bryan. But that was few and far in between. And I'll say this, people need to admit me, John Cena heard it a lot. Which confuses me why so many big wrestling personalities, even like Jim Cornette and like everybody talks about how great John Cena is. When I'm like, I'm sorry dude, John Cena is one of the things that hurt your business and the decline. It did. And no one wants to say it. People go, what do you mean? John Cena, think about it, there's no WCW. The other companies like TNA Wrestling barely made a blip. You had some smaller ones like Ring of Honor. But the general public, when they think of wrestling, they think of WWE. And they go on TV, or they look at the TV, they see John Cena, who is bland, who is boring. He's a boring wrestler. He's a boring personality. He's fake and phony and fraudulent on the mic. I don't buy a single word he says. I didn't buy him as the white rapper. Thugonomics. Okay? You're not Eminem. I buy Vanilla Ice more than you. I don't buy you as the Fruity Pebble loving Marine. Stop saluting. You were never in the military. You make Marines look fucking bad. And then being for the kids, and just... even the Hulk Hogan, if you think about it, he was on top, but not even as long as John Cena was in WWE. Hulk Hogan, maybe from 84 to... you can't even say 94, so that wasn't even 10 years. Because even by 91, people were booing Hulk Hogan. Don't blame me, watch the original Royal Rumble in 92, without the altered audio. I think that was the one where Ric Flair won. There was a guy named Sid. big guy. Wow, seems like a badass. Threw Hulk Hogan over. Yeah! The crowd cheered. Just, yeah, he won't win again because we want to see something different. And then when Hulk Hogan helped pull Sid out, people boo, boo, that's bullshit. But then now, if you try to watch it, it's been altered. And they do that a lot. I mean, a lot. With the history of that business. So, John Cena, people got tired of seeing him. I never liked him. So you have people that never liked him, that just don't care for his personality, all that. Some kids liked him, so that's how he sold a lot of merchandise. That's why he was number one on the call sheet. His merchandise was being sold. That's all they cared about. But it's like, what, I'm supposed to care about John Cena and CM and Triple H and some of these other guys? And it's like, okay, we're going to be a publicly traded company where it'll be much more scripted. We're much more scripted because we can't have people say the wrong thing or say the wrong verbiage to get us sued or get us in trouble or get us where we have to apologize. So people can't be themselves, or maybe it's not themselves, but be a character they believe in. Be someone they believe in. And back to the day, whether you had Jake the Snake Roberts or even Ultimate Warrior, as crazy he is, he bought into who the hell he was. And his promos were confusing, but at the same time, if you read what he said, okay, I can get what he's meaning, but he bought him. It's like, I believe that's who he was. That intensity felt real. That intensity felt genuine. As crazy he was. Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah. Cup of coffee. Just got a cup of coffee. Him talk like that, because he did talk like that in real life, and it was genuine. Even Sky Hall with the, hey, yo, Chico. You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. I've come here to WCW. See, Scott Hall being a prick, you bought it, genuine. Take what verbiage and make it their own. That way you don't have someone like Roman Reigns go on about Southern succotash as if he's Sylvester the fucking pussy. It's just one of those things where you get more scripted and just more stupid stuff. And yeah, there was dumb comedy back in the day. Don't get me wrong, there was bad fantasy stuff back in the day. I mean, Papa Shango having a voodoo curse on Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker and Kane have superpowers where the lightning hits the ring. I wasn't really into that either. I just wasn't. That's not the part of wrestling I was into. It was the personalities that felt genuine and badass and the fighting. I know it can't be all just wrestling either, technique. You can do 85 flips and still feel nothing. It's a combination of the two. But there's a lot of times where they've gone even further into that movie world where they try to do more special effects. They try to do more now cinematic movies where people die. There's this one where someone fell into a lake and got eaten by a crocodile. But next week they're there. Or hey, Randy Orton fought a guy named The Fiend, killed him, burned his body, but then 3 months later the guy's still there. I'm like, man, that's crazy, he got burned alive. As in, they cut away, they cut back, and it's obviously a fucking dummy burning in the rain while Randy Orton looks at it. If you're trying to get someone new into wrestling and they watch that, they go, how the fuck do you explain why this is worth a shit? Someone don't know, well, why is that dummy burning the screen, and I'm supposed to buy that he murdered someone on TV and no one's doing anything about it? I don't fucking know. And there was a time where it was too talky and they wouldn't fight. It was too comedic, and they were having all this, like, let's have the Three Stooges in there. I remember in 2012, because that Farrelly Brothers Three Stooges movie was coming out. So they had the three fucking stooges in there doing skits, and the guy who played Curly in the movie, Will Sasso from Mad TV, he played again Curly in the Three Stooges. He did his Hulk Hogan impersonation, and people booed the shit out of it because they said this is stupid. At one point there was a fucking bunny. I'm not talking about Bad Bunny the rapper. I'm talking about, which he is in wrestling now. And he moves better than some of the actual wrestlers, which is crazy. I'm talking about there's an actual guy in a bunny suit on the fucking roster, like, I don't know, 5 years ago? Like 5 fucking years ago, there was a guy wearing a fucking bunny suit in the roster. And a guy would wrestle in a bunny suit. How about you just have a whole furry Royal Rumble? Have a guy in My Little Pony, a guy in a wolf, a guy in a Ninja Turtle, and just have them wrestle in a Royal Rumble. Might as fucking well. Would you be surprised if they did? Because they just create these weird decisions. Even other wrestling companies, like that pay-per-view I reviewed of Matt Hardy, where a fucking drone, you see a point of view of a drone saying, I'm going to take you on. What? This is wrestling. My nose was not itching before I did this fucking review. It's so much allergic bullshit. It's making me... Fuck. The more I do it, the more I'm itching. Fuck. Rash on my ass. Must be the preparation H. Goddamn Triple H, leave me alone. It's all this stuff combined. Yeah, wrestling is fake. But they try to make it... Again, aside from this, there was silly stuff here and there. But it still felt like they're trying to make it more real than they do nowadays. It's like, okay, I'm watching a Jason Statham movie. Maybe if he does a parody, he could walk up and wink to the camera. But if I'm watching... Okay, let's say I was watching The Transporter 2, and all of a sudden, Jason Statham stops, and he looks at the camera and he smiles, and he goes over and he sticks a pine cone up his ass, singing the Sesame Street theme. I'd be like, what the fuck is this? I'm not going to watch anymore. There's so many people that just stop and just... It's like no common sense is being labeled into the proceedings. No common sense is being labeled into, wait a minute, why are we doing this? This is stupid. This is dumb. Why are the wrestling companies having matches with invisible men? Or they do this so choreographed stuff. Yes, some choreography is nice, but they get so choreographed that a guy is literally waiting on something for 5 minutes for a guy to do this and a guy to do this so that 5 people can flip these 5 people over, and you're seeing this guy just kind of literally looking around waiting for 5 minutes like, please lift me up, just waiting for you. I'm like, this is supposed to be a battle between 2 guys. So of course people go like, fuck this, I'll just go watch UFC or boxing for real. But wrestling people enjoy because there was a time they thought it was real, they didn't know it yet. But still, they bought into like a movie fight. Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren did not really fight in Universal Soldier. But you buy into, and you don't want them to stop in the middle and play, get a toy lightsaber and fight. I remember this is years ago, what was it, on TNA, or it was like some people from ECW try to do their last bits in TNA, and it's like there's supposed to be this big knockdown fight, and then they stop in the middle and they get like toy lightsabers. And you're like, why? And people, you're not supposed to take it seriously. It's goofy. It's stupid. I'm like, this is the problem as well. It's like movies. It's like, oh, why are you being so serious about movies, Matt? Who cares about, like, Scream 5? Just sit down and enjoy. No, this is why, even back to the day, they looked at a film and, yes, either you did it for money and did it for the job, for the money, or it's like, no, you did it because you gave a shit. And you want to be halfway fucking decent. That's why I liked a lot of those 80s films that were serious. You say, yeah, I mean, it's fun at a comic book level, like Commando. And yeah, we have a sense of humor, but at the same time, Arnold is serious, and the filmmaker's like, no, we actually do want to get the shots done, and we actually want to get this accomplished. We actually want to give people the money's worth in terms of the action scenes. We actually want to not half-ass on that front. And, I mean, even today, when I read this topic, I was curious. Because I had done a wrestling video before. I mentioned I like Bobby Lashley. Actually, it was that stupid Matt Hardy pay-per-view. So it's, oh yeah, they don't do Matt. They finally do it. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. And I'm thinking, wonder how they don't fuck this up. Not, oh, it's going to be good. No, I'm like, I know they don't fuck it up. How? And lo and behold, because these stupid writers, because Vince McMahon is out of his element. He lost his touch. He lost his mind. Because these people don't know what they're doing. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar should be two beasts going back and forth like this, ready to tear each other's heads off. And instead, you got Brock Lesnar looked like he got off the set of Brokeback Mountain 2 with his stupid fucking thing. And then you got Bobby Lashley wearing a goddamn suit, think he's from New Jack City, and kind of at times being afraid of Brock. What the fuck? Oh, and he needs Roman Reigns to help him win a championship. What? Brock can't lose to Bobby Lashley, of all people? He can't... What the fuck is going on? This is why I would never care to get into wrestling again. If you have Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, you still find a way to fuck that up, which they did, because they always fuck it up. It further proves why wrestling is on a decline. You have people in charge of it that don't know what they're doing, and countless times you will see people rant. There are more rants about wrestling than actual talk about wrestling. If you go on YouTube, there's more people saying how much it sucks than about the good merits of it. That's why everyone should just stop watching the shit. Have WWE. It looks like they're ready to be sold. Some of the shit got sold to Peacock, the NBC, and even that lost money apparently. Peacock lost money. Now maybe not just because of WWE, because of other stuff, to be fair. But barely people watch the product, because why should they? To watch a bunch of stupid shit? To watch how no one can... If you watch the new Royal Rumble, you don't know who most of the fucking people are, because they're a dime a dozen. They blend in the crowd. There's no one with a strong personality. No one could be a badass. Because if they win, then they lose. If they lose, they win. Remember when they tried to make Kofi Kingston? Hey, Kofi Kingston's a champion. Okay, seems talented. Well, he fucks around and then he lost to Brock Lesnar in 10 seconds. Wow. Way to show that championship meant nothing. Oh, Kofi won the championship at WrestleMania. Yeah? Well, a couple months later, he lost in 10 seconds to Brock Lesnar. Decisions like that make you go, what was the point of even getting into this in the first place? Why would people want to watch? That'd be my question. That's all that combines the decline of wrestling, especially WWE. And also, the fact that you're 3 hours long, and you got Raw and SmackDown, so SmackDown's another, 2-3 hours? I don't remember. And then they got pay-per-view seemingly every damn month. As some person would put it, how can I miss you if you don't go away? How can I miss you if you don't go away? You need to go away for a while. I think WWE needs to... I can't say needs to, because that's a lot of jobs being gone. So It's hard for me to say that because that's a lot of people not having a job. And a lot of people, it's not their fault. It's the people above who make these stupid decisions. But there's got to be some way to pinpoint that you have to make people miss it. Miss wrestling. Why do you think so many people go back and watch the older stuff? Like my favorite wrestlers, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Macho Man Randy Savage, Bret the Hitman Hart. God, I had in top 5. I forgot who the others were. I know top 10, Ricky Steamboat would be in there. Top 10, Diamond Dallas Page I liked. Booker T I liked. But Dan, how can I miss you if you won't go away? The Rock I would put in top 10. But, I mean... people are just burned out on it. People just think it's so silly and stupid and dumb and goofy and silly and... it just gets goofier. A year or two ago, then you have a match where someone lost an eyeball because the whole point was that you have to take the eyeball out of the opponent's skull. And then the way they did was they cut away. They cut back so it had like a fake eye. I'm like... So, yeah, you take that, you shove it up your ass. With that said, I don't know what to say. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.